Welcome to the Google Cloud Update. This is the week of the 17th of October, and we've got a jam-packed episode for you today, heavily focused on the world of AI and data. First up, we'll dive into some massive updates in Vertex AI, including a powerful new serving framework for large language models on TPUs, the arrival of Anthropic's latest Claude model, and some truly mind-blowing new video generation capabilities with Veo. Then, we'll switch gears to BigQuery, which has received a major user experience overhaul in BigQuery Studio, making it easier than ever to navigate, search, and manage your data workflows. We'll also cover new features for geospatial analysis, notebooks, and even using Gemini to help write your SQL. We also have some important infrastructure news, with new, powerful machine series now generally available for Cloud SQL. And of course, we'll cover some key security updates, including a couple of high-severity vulnerabilities in GKE that you'll want to patch right away. Let's get into it. All right, let's kick things off with Vertex AI, because there is a lot to talk about. First, for those of you running large language models at scale, there's a new serving framework in town called VLLM TPU. That's VLLM on TPU. It's a highly efficient framework specifically optimized for Google's cloud TPU hardware, and it's now available through the Model Garden. This is all about getting maximum performance and efficiency for your LLM serving, so if you're deep in the ML ops world, this is a big deal. The Model Garden is also expanding its family of partner models. You can now use Anthropic's Claude Haiku 4.5. It's great to see the ecosystem of available models continuing to grow, giving you more choice for your specific use cases. But the most exciting news out of Vertex AI this week has to be the updates to Veo, Google's video generation model. First, Veo 3.1 is now available in preview, and it comes in two flavors, Veo 3.1 Preview and Veo 3.1 Fast Preview. This new version gives you a ton of creative control. You can generate videos from text prompts, from a single image, or even by providing the first and last frames and letting the model fill in the middle. You can even guide the generation using a reference image to maintain stylistic consistency. And if that wasn't enough, the existing Veo 2 model, also in preview, has learned a new trick. You can now add and remove objects from videos. Yes, you heard that right. You can insert new objects into an existing video or remove ones that are already there. This opens up a whole new world of possibilities for video editing and post-production, all powered by generative AI. We're talking about some seriously futuristic capabilities becoming available right now. Just a quick heads up for those using Imagen 4. The older preview models will be removed on November 30th, 2025. Make sure you migrate any workflows over to the generally available Imagen 4 models to avoid any disruption. Now let's move over to the data side of the house and talk about BigQuery. The team has been hard at work making the BigQuery Studio experience much, much better. A whole suite of user interface improvements just hit general availability. The left Explorer pane has been reorganized into 3 clean sections: Explorer, Classic Explorer, and Git Repository, which streamlines how you find your resources. There's also a powerful new search feature in the Explorer pane that lets you find BigQuery resources across your entire organization, with filters to narrow things down. The way you manage tabs has also been improved to reduce clutter. Resources now open in the same tab by default, but you can still open them in new tabs if you need to. They've also added breadcrumbs for easier navigation. Essentially, it's a whole host of quality-of-life improvements that make working in BigQuery Studio a more fluid and intuitive experience. On the feature front, you can now visualize your geospatial query results directly on an interactive map within BigQuery Studio. This is now generally available and is fantastic for anyone working with location data. For you DBT fans, the DBT BigQuery adapter can now run Python code defined in BigQuery data frames, and that is also now GA. And for those who live in notebooks, there are 2 cool new preview features. First, you can now use SQL cells to write and run queries on your BigQuery data directly inside a notebook. Second, you can now embed natural language comments inside your SQL code, and Gemini will help you refine and transform it. This is a great way to iterate on complex queries with a little AI assistance. Let's touch on some core infrastructure. For those running databases on Cloud SQL, there's some new hardware available. Cloud SQL Enterprise Edition now supports the new N4 machine series, which is now generally available. These machines offer a great balance of priced performance and use hyperdisk balanced storage. You can customize them with up to 80 vCPUs and 640 gigabytes of memory. Additionally, for the most demanding workloads on Cloud SQL Enterprise Plus Edition, the C4A machine series is also now generally available. These are compute-optimized machines designed for predictable high performance. Both of these new machine series are available for both MySQL and Postgres. Let's cover a few updates across networking, security, and Kubernetes. In Cloud Armor, hierarchical security policies are now generally available. This is a huge win for large organizations, as it allows for centralized control and delegation of your web application firewall policies across your resource hierarchy. For networking, Private Service Connect Health is now in preview. This feature lets service producers define health states, which enables automatic cross-region failover for consumers using Private Service Connect backends. This is a key piece for building highly resilient multi-region architectures. Over in the Kubernetes world, there's an important known issue to be aware of. In recent GKE versions, mount volume calls for NFS volumes might fail if an NFS server pod starts on the same node before the client pod. This causes a conflict with the RPC bind service. There is a workaround available, which involves deploying a daemon set. So check the release notes if you're using NFS on GKE. And now for our weekly security bulletin. We have a couple of high-severity vulnerabilities to report for GKE. The first is a privilege escalation vulnerability in the Linux kernel tracked as CVE 2025-39946. This affects both GKE standard and autopilot clusters. The second, also a Linux kernel privilege escalation bug, is CVE 2025-38617. This primarily impacts GKE standard clusters, though autopilot clusters could be vulnerable in non-default configurations. In both cases, clusters using GKE Sandbox are not impacted. The solution is to upgrade your container-optimized OS node pools to a patched version. Please check the security bulletin for the specific patch versions required for your minor version. We can't stress this enough. Please review the bulletin and schedule your upgrades to protect your clusters. And now for a few quick updates to round out the week. Dataproc Serverless for Apache Spark has started its rollout of new runtimes that include an upgrade to Spark version 3.5.3. For developers using infrastructure as code, Config Connector has a new version out with several new resources in beta and alpha, including ones for Document AI, BigQuery, BigLake, and Bigtable. And finally, for Secret Manager users, a new integrated secret synchronization feature is in preview. This lets you automatically sync secrets from Secret Manager directly into Kubernetes secret objects in your GKE clusters, which is a fantastic way to streamline how your applications consume secrets. And that's a wrap for this week's Google Cloud Update. From powerful new video generation in VO to a much improved BigQuery Studio experience and critical GKE security patches, there's a lot to dig into. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next week for another dose of Google Cloud news.